Like every single person ever, I absolutely live for the thrill of being thrown into a world with nothing but absolute nakedness. I want resources, I want crafting, I want base building, I want enemies. Survival games allow for all of that. With this in mind, I want to compare two survival franchises to point out what they both have done that's good and which one may need to up their game in the future. Those franchises are Subnautica and The Forest. These are two of the most popular survival franchises ever made, and it isn't a surprise. There are a few core elements that both of these games have perfected. Some of these are easy to pick out, but others not so much. For starters, both of these franchises harp on one fear specifically, the fear of the unknown. In Subnautica, some of the most gut-wrenching moments in the game are when you don't know something. I can't see as well behind the aurora, bang, you're fearing what you don't know. I don't know what enemies are below 300 meters down, bang, more unknown territory. This is the horror aspect of the survival genre everyone's talking about, and the Subnautica franchise as a whole does a great job at it. Similarly, in the Forest franchise, while you don't have deeper waters and massive leviathans chasing you, you do have the Forest's version of that, with caves. While light sources are available for both The Forest and Sons of the Forest, they don't exactly make it feel like daytime by any means, so when you're adventuring in a cave, you've got that same fear of the unknown. What's at the end of this cave? What was that sound I just heard? All questions that keep you wondering, is my underwear prepared for what's about to happen? But if there's one thing that no one is ever prepared for in either of these games, is their enemies, which also are incredibly similar in their own way.
But Schmacker, how can a fish and a cannibal be similar?
Shut up! I'm getting to that! In the Forest franchise, cannibals follow these things called patrol routes, areas that enemies frequently walk along and attempt to find you, the survivor. Knowing these patrol routes as the player can make you rethink how you go about your entire playthrough. Where you go, where you base, you're at the mercy of the cannibals. In Subnautica, the enemies in the games have the exact same thing. These are the enemies that stick to certain pathing, stay within their respective biomes, all of this in an attempt to remind the player that if you do muster the courage to leave the starting area, and you end up encountering something you don't like, guess what? It's on you. Now, I am not going to sit here and say that these franchises are carbon copies of each other, because they aren't. One franchise has you looking for your son whilst being chased by big flesh monsters and chasing down billionaires. The other has you curing a disease the entire time with its sequel. I don't even know, to be honest. Let's just skip that. The bottom line is these franchises are very different from one another. One of the biggest differences right off rip for a lot of players is the base building experience. Especially in Sons of the Forest, its base building system is one of the most intuitive systems in any survival game ever. They knocked it out of the park in the second game, and most importantly, the bases have a purpose. Enemies can attack your base, traps are needed, safety is actually helpful. As for Subnautica, sure, base building exists, yay, but enemies don't even attack them. In both of the Subnautica games, they literally add vehicles that take the place of a base. It takes away from the whole survival aspect, and instead it makes it feel like a field trip to the aquarium. I want leviathans attacking my base, I want to patch up holes, and I want to fear for my life 24/7, not just behind the aurora. In any of the Forest games, you can defend your base for sure, but you can also defend yourself. You have weapons, you have katanas, axes, fires, bombs, you name it. You're surviving because you're fighting. In the Subnautica games, you have a stasis rifle, and a knife, and a death wish, as well as the occasional roadkill from your sea moth. Overall, in Subnautica, you feel more hopeless in fights, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. If you're more of a violent player, you'll probably like the Forest franchise a bit more than Subnautica. If you want to be a little bit more scared and vulnerable 24/7, you might like Subnautica more. This is a comparison, not a bash to either franchise. These games are similar and different in a bunch of ways, but each and every one of them hold a special place in every survivalist's heart. And if you can think of any other similarities or differences between these games I may not have mentioned, let me know down in the comments, and let's hope for a great third game from both of these amazing survival franchises.